Good morning, everybody that's listening. I know some people say, come on in, come on in, come on in. We're waiting. I hope you come in. But anyway, I am getting ready to go into the good word of Exodus chapter 23. Again, God has allowed me to come into his house and to show me how he runs things. And it's up to me that I behave as a guest. If the Father has allowed me in his house, I am his guest. But he wants me to be more than a guest. He wants me to be a part of the family. Being that I am introducing word for word in Exodus, the book of Exodus, I'm going to act like a guest, but I know I'm a part of the family. I already been born. But anyway, I'm coming back as a guest to watch how God does things as I present this to people who might want to also join him in his house. All right, so I am in Exodus chapter 23, and it is a very, very, God runs a house that is very orderly. And so therefore, I am going to behave myself accordingly. Very important that we take the word of God seriously. All right, chapter 23 of, good morning, Robert Chambers, I saw your name. Chapter 23, and I'm going straight into verse 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Don't be counted. Don't increase it. Don't be a part of it. If it's anything that's not lined up with the truth, he said, don't raise a false report. Don't get in the number of people that don't know what they're talking about. Don't be another place that don't know what you're talking about. Read my word. Be a part of the people that's reading my word. Don't raise another false report. Don't raise another building that people are not getting the word of God. I pray that everybody that is called into ministry, that you pay attention to the book, the manual, the curriculum of God. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Don't be a part of people that tell lies. Don't put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. If you're going to be a part of the body of Christ, don't know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about, and then when you don't know what you're talking about, admit, I don't know. He said, don't raise another false report. Don't raise another child to grow up that's absent from my word. And I know that this could say more than that, but I'm going to go in this, see if this is the angle or the vein that I'm going to walk in today. Don't raise another offering and give a false report. Don't pay attention to false reports. Don't give into a false report. Don't make a false report big. Check the word to see whether or not you are raising a false report. You really want to know how much you are teaching, then check your children to see how much they say they learn from you. Put not your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Don't crucify Jesus. Don't let his blood, don't crucify him afresh. Don't do it. You shall not follow a multitude to do evil. I don't care how big that crowd is. I don't care how famous that crowd is. I don't care who's who among the crowd. He said, don't follow a multitude to do evil. Don't be a part of something just because you've been there long enough and your mama was a part of it and now you a part of it. He said, don't follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shall you speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. And I know this is basically a lot of time talking about going to court. I understand what this is saying and how it could be given, but whatever the reason, I'm going in this direction. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to rest judgment. In other words, speak up. Don't decline when something is wrong. I said, well, I don't want to disturb it because, you know, that's just not the way we do things. And you got to be careful. You just got to pray for people because, you know, he said, don't decline when it's time to say no. Don't decline when they said don't do that. Don't decline when you know what the word says and other people that's going against what the word is saying, because it is a group, a lot of people. He said don't do that. Don't go to court and decide whether or not you're going to participate because, you know, certain people looking at you and you're going to lose friends with that person. Don't decline the truth because of the number of people that's watching you. Neither shall thou countenance a poor man in his cause. In other words, don't show favoritism. Oh, he's poor, so you just, you know, just break the rule a little bit. And God said don't do that. You don't look at people on the outside for nothing. Don't look at them if they're poor. Don't make judgments because people look like they don't have it. You don't know what's up. God said don't get into that. You know that lady that's in the courtroom that holds that balance, and she's blind. She got something over her eye. He said, when you come up in here, you got to be tried justly. And I don't see color, I don't see status, I don't see woman, I don't see man. I see the word of God. I'm blind to you, and you got to tell the truth. So don't make a decision that, you know, I'm just going to do this because, you know, Sister Brenda ain't got that much. You know, if Sister Brenda not right, then tell Sister Brenda, do not decline telling me the truth because you think I can't handle it. If you meet your enemy's ox, oh, Lord, this is getting ready to be deep. First of all, I know you my enemy. If I meet your enemy's ox, or if you meet thine enemy's ox, or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. God said, look, if you see your enemy's stuff going astray, turn that thing around and say, ain't that Mr. Jones's stuff? Yeah, you talking about that man that cussed you out yesterday? Mm-hmm. That man that ran into your car, didn't have any insurance, and then mad because he got to pay. Mm-hmm. And you see something that belongs to him that's not in his yard, that's supposed to be in his yard if it stayed in the street too long. In other words, his garbage ran out into the street when the garbage man picked it up, and you see that other cars are having a problem getting around that garbage can. Do something. Go out there and put that man garbage can back on in his address. No, he might not want me touching it. Well, I could have thought of something worse than that, but I just thought anything that you know somebody has done wrong to you and you see where it would benefit them, the word said do that thing that is right. Now, Jesus has not come yet, has he? Or is he here? We're going to find out. Well, that's the Old Testament. I thought you just said an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Yeah. I'm just telling you how far you can go if you had to go to be exact or something. But I'm trying to show you that my heart is not trying to get you to knock his tooth out because he knocked yours out. I'm just saying that if your heart is just want to do something to make things right, don't take any more than what was taken from you. But here he's saying, if your enemy has a problem with something, and you can help him. Hey, your enemy, oh God, you just asked me to stretch. Yes, I am. He said, that's if you meet your enemy stuff now. You see that you can help. If you see the ass of him that hates you, Lord, I wonder did God think about 2020? If you see the ass of him that hates you lying under his burden, and you saw that the ass broke his leg and would forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help him. If you're thinking about whether or not you should help him based on the fact, okay, number one, what the animal got to do with the problem that you and that man has? What does that thing have to do with the problem that you can solve? Do you hate your brother so much that you can see an animal in distress and you decide, or you see his child's car on the flat and you just decide, well, I mix everybody in there. Fix what you can fix. He said, because if you see your brother, if you see your, just God must love. He said, because you're my enemy. I'm bringing a bunch of enemies to the, well, these are my children, but they're going to show out now. But he's telling him that don't get over here in the promised land and act like I haven't spoken to you about how to act. I'm taking you to a land that's flourishing with milk and honey. Now, in case these things happen, you be nice now. You be nice. You do right now. He said, thou shalt not rest the judgment of the poor in his cause. In other words, don't take away what's right because a man is poor. If he needs to serve time, he needs to serve time. And if he needs to, he's repeating this verse again in a way, don't hold back what is right when he's wrong. The other one don't feel sorry for him when he's wrong. And this one is said, if he's wrong, don't look at how much money he got in the bank. Don't look at how many children he has. Don't look at the fact that, they barely make it. God said you'd be blind to that. Don't look at nobody's appearance and decide whether or not they deserve to be treated right with justice being served. He said, verse 7, keep you far from a false matter. He says, stay away from stuff you don't know what you're talking about. Keep a long way from it. Don't even if there's anything wrong with it, don't you be mixed in it. Don't you raise a false report. He said, keep away from everything. How do you know when things are false? You cut the light on. You look at the word. How do you know if the pastor's lining with the word? You don't just stay there, you can pray from a distance. Stay away from false reports. I don't care how long it's been in the family. Stay away. The word said, keep you far from a false matter. And the innocent and righteous slay thou not. And if somebody come in to bring correction to you, he said, don't do anything to slay that person. If I'm telling you the truth, and you don't like it, and I'm telling the truth, he said, why you want to kill me? Why you want to kill my name? And the innocent and righteous slay thou not. For I will not justify the wicked. God is saying, I don't take up for nobody. You check the word. Be like the people that went to the word to check it to see whether or not it is written. Check the word to see whether or not what they're saying is true. If it's true, be careful how you treat people that's trying to tell you need to change. Yeah, that goes in the courtroom too. But look like God is, I didn't even know I was going to look at it this way. But I'm looking at it this way. You better know what the word said and make sure that what you're saying is not false. And then if somebody come in and try to tell you the truth, he said, don't you kill that person. He said, because I ain't going to justify the wicked. I'm telling you. That's why I'm reading this word by word, sentence by sentence. I have studied this. I study it because I need to, not so that I can tell you how much I study. I don't know what I'm talking about until I get in this word and read it. Then listen, let me tell y'all what I just read. What verse am I on? Verse number 7. I was looking at the church, and the man that was teaching was white, Caucasian. And I was watching him teach this verse right here. And he was reading the word correctly. Because I was watching, I was listening. But I noticed that his examples, he rarely talked about what's going on. And he did it some years ago. But suppose we get in our churches and tell folk clearly what's happening in the United States of the America. What if we told our white congregation, you can't treat a black man like that? What if people heard that when they saw this scripture? He talked about Chinese. He talked about, and he kind of mentioned black, and he made this comment. He said, I just think that some people too sensitive, even if you got to let that stuff go. That wasn't even talking about black people. I think that people just too sensitive. You're trying to hold on to this stuff too long. You got to let this stuff go. No, don't. You can't teach us like that. People got to hear it and hear it. Our congregation, as black churches, I don't know too many black churches that don't invite other colors in. In fact, I don't know if any. I mean, they could be doing something just as equally. Or maybe, the black churches don't teach the word in a way where other cultures want to be a part of it, because we tend to entertain more than we do study, in my experience. Now I'm talking about me. But I think if you call a spade or spades, call it a spade. If the problem is we got issues in the United States with the color of our skin, that's what you got to call it. We can no longer pretend. This stuff is out of control. And all I see when I see all of this chaos is sheep without a shepherd. People they don't know how to handle conflict. That's why they look at all the police and they don't know how to handle that. They don't know that God's hand is on the police. Sheep don't know what to do because sheep don't know the word. Because Jesus said, if they hear my word, they'll know my voice. And when this stuff come up, you'll know where to go. But we out of control because there's too many people that's leading that has another agenda than the truth. And then you kill those people that come in and challenge, saying, wait a minute, what are you saying? Now you got a problem with the sheep, and they out there burning down buildings and stopping police. And the word says, go check out Revelation 6. He said, I'm going to tell you, take my peace. We're not thinking. We're not sober. We're making decisions for a temporary, we're making permanent decisions in a temporary situation. So we got to wake up and start calling a spade a spade. We can't just tiptoe around this thing. This thing is real. This thing coming out of places that, you would think that a white woman would be sort of quiet and just kind of let her husband speak. But lately, these white women spitting on folk and we known to be black when we ready to strike it like a match. But this stuff coming up because Pharaoh got to release everything on the inside of him so we can see what this stuff been baking. And all I'm saying is we got to stop. Our churches, God is not going to take these churches being all one flavor. He said, I ain't taking that. He said, you got to teach my word where all will come. Black people got to get in the word and begin to teach the word, not take a sentence from the word and make a message. Because he said, you ain't going back in there like that. Ain't going to let nobody come in there. You would think Corona ain't going to never go nowhere. That's what I think now. Until we learn how to go back in that classroom and teach, things are not going to be the same. But he said, if my people that's got my word will humble themselves and read it and do what it says, he said, I can heal this land. This land's sick. We have allowed the dogs, we have allowed the last verse of the 22nd chapter to say, you coming in there torn, offering this meat is all over the place. He said, throw that back out to the dogs. Because the words that you speak, it's got to come right. That offering that you bring me, it's got to be, you got to do what I said. So now you see a reflection of somebody don't know this word. And you got to be smart enough while you in this stage of can't go nowhere, read for yourself. And then get on YouTube. And then see if you can find 2 or 3 pastors saying the same thing. And then that way you're going to find your truth. I'm just saying, I don't know if you're going to find on Facebook. If you find on Facebook, if you, not 2 or 3. Not many, but YouTube, you just put in there Exodus 23. And it ought to be saying, we ought to be saying the same thing or in the same vein. I'm talking about, I was going to come in here talking about the courtroom, but when I sat down, it like God said, no, don't go there, go in that direction. Go in the direction as that I'm taking you in. Next verse. 7 verse says, keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay you not. Somebody trying to tell you the truth, don't slay them folk. For I would not justify the wicked. And he said, look at it in that verse 8, and thou shalt take no gift. Don't have an old woman sitting up in church giving you all that money and you just sit up there letting that woman destroy that church because she don't want to change. The age ain't got nothing to do with God's word. God older than all of us. How much money you got has nothing to do with God's word. How much money you giving. Don't take gifts from people and distort the word of God. For the gift blinds the wise. Easy to give a blind a wise man. A gift will blind Solomon. A gift will blind anybody. The Bible says the gift blinds the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. I mean, you give somebody some right money, even you give me some money. I might not, I'm just saying. The Bible said, he said, but don't take that. He said, because as sure as you take it, he said, what if they paid off all your bills off and all the things that you got on the list that you want done, and they come in and just wipe it all out. He said, when it come down to my word, you tell me you can keep it. Because I ain't got time for you. I don't want to go blind at the truth because you done gave me some stuff. That stuff can't last in heat. I can't take that stuff nowhere with me. I can't take it with me. And then if I go to a place where it's continuously burning, what is the meaning of the stuff? So he said, these gifts will blind the best of the best. They will blind a pastor. They will blind a pastor's wife. They will blind a teacher. They will blind a principal. They will blind the president. They will blind the United States judges in the Supreme Court. He said, don't fool around with these gifts. He'll blind you. You ain't got to be crooked to be blinded by gifts. He said, you can be wise and you can be righteous. He said, and thou shalt not don't take no gift. When it comes down to my word, let my word be my word. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger. Somebody new? For you know the heart of a stranger. You know what it's like to be in a place where don't nobody know you. Seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. He said, don't give a hard time to the people that don't understand your language. You slow down. And you use pictures if you can't convey their language. Because you know there was a time when you didn't know anything, especially when you were doing all kind of, when I didn't read the word, I was a stranger. And now that I know how to I'm in the word, I'm on my way to the promised land. Well, I'm a part of the promised land. I'm just saying, if I was back here, he was just trying to tell these folk how to act. When you get to Canaan, he said, you're going to see some people that's going to be strange to you. He said, remember how you behave yourself now? And then he said, let me give y'all instructions so when you get there, you'll know how to work the land and how to do business. Verse 10, in 6 years you shall sow the land, your land, and shall gather the fruit thereof. He said, I want you to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. He said, do all the sowing and cultivating the ground and reaping in just 6 years. Work. Don't skip a year. 6 years, go in there, you work. So keep it in order. Give me 6 years of nothing but getting up early in the morning, do what you got to do the land right, go back and plan and reap and plan and reap, do that for 6 years. He said, but on the 7th year, verse 11, but the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still. He said, leave the ground alone. I'm trying to tell y'all how to keep your businesses. Don't get over there and change and say, I didn't tell you now, I'm telling you now. You going to a place where it's flowing with milk and honey. It's enough grazing. It's you ain't going over there to be greedy now. Just get the people a break. Get the land a break. Don't take from people all the time. Know your books in order that if you're going to run a business, when it's time to back off. Back off. Be honest with what you do when you do it. And then get the people a break. Don't have a building fund this year. Back off. You've been building fund for 50 years. You know there's something wrong with that. Certain things are just obviously wrong. He said, don't raise no money this week. to do nothing. Just chill out. Let everybody be still for a minute. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of the people may eat. Let the people enjoy something. And what they leave, the beast, let the beast eat. Let the bears and whatever come out that you left. He said, let chill out for a year. You work 6 years and rest for 7. Let people trust me. If you do what I say do, they're going to trust me. But now I can't be letting the people rest, because you know what they're going to do? They won't give. They'll stop. God said, I ain't tell you that. Break up. Chill out. Have your business so in order that you can last a year. And just enjoy each other. Just have a... wouldn't that be good if people just can feel like we got some order? 6 days thou shalt do... But the 7th year, back to 11 verse, but the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with your vineyards and with the olive yards. It doesn't matter. He said, whatever the field is. He said, it doesn't matter what it is. Give it a break. Give it a break. 6 days. 6 days thou shalt do the work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest. He said, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He said, work. Saturday, chill. 6 days thou shalt do the work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. He said, this is what he was telling them, and the principle that God is saying. He said, you need to you need to have at least one day off. You really need to be working 6. You're supposed to be chilling all 6 days. He said, that's why y'all got health problems. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to myself too. So you need to chill out. Chill. I give you permission to. But on the days I say work, don't slack. You work hard enough, that body gonna need that day, and then you're gonna get up the next day. You're gonna be, your mind, our minds and things are gonna be so refreshed. Well, this is what he was telling them then. Because when Jesus came, he said, we're going to talk about that. But let's just do what he say do, like right now. You want to talk? And in all things that I have said unto you, be cautious. Circumspect. Be cautious. He said, pay attention to what I said. I missed the verse 12. 6 days thou shalt do your work. On the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the sons of thy handmaid, your sons, and the strangers may be refreshed. Let the women be still, the men be still, the strangers be still, the ox be still, everything be still. Let people get to know my routine. I need you to work. Let me work through y'all. Do it so until the world take notice that they don't do anything. They work hard 6 days. They're some hard-working people. But I declare they don't do nothing on that 7th day. But they good tomorrow now. 13. In all things that I have said unto you, be cautious, circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. Don't give credit to nobody else for all the good things that I'm doing in and through you. Don't try to impress anybody else and say because I got a stimulus check, I know somebody famous, I know so-and-so, so-and-so. He said, don't put other people. When I do what I do, I do what I do. He said, don't mix my name with anything else of fame. Don't do that. Don't, first of all, don't diminish me and my work and what I do through you. He said in the 13th verse, and don't even let it come out of your mouth. Don't even entertain it. Don't even think about it, negative or positive. Don't even speak of it. Just say what I say and let me make you more distinguished to multitudes of people. That's what the word is saying. He said, don't even let it be heard out of your mouth. Just let certain things just don't come out of your mouth. Don't declare that I'm Republican. Don't declare that I'm Democratic. He said, don't do that. I'm your God. Don't raise a false report. Just do what I say do, and let my name be magnified. Don't let people know you because of what you voted for and how you voted. We have ignored God's way so much until this God's word sounds strange to us. All right. Verse 14. 3 times you shall keep a feast unto me in a year. He said, just give me 3 times a year. And y'all celebrate with me. I like celebrations. 3 times a year. I want it to be me and you. 3 times a year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Don't put no yeast in that bread. He said, because I want y'all to remember what I did for you. When I brought you out of the land of Egypt, I was like, you can just lay it right there. Thank you so much. He said, thou shalt keep that. He said, keep that feast of unleavened bread. Don't put no yeast in that bread. Y'all know what yeast is? Alcohol. He said, I'm telling y'all to eat some bread without alcohol. Eat that bread that just bread. That leaven, that non-living bread. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I already told you, in the time appointed of the month. Abib, or somebody said that's April to us. For in it you came out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. He said, let me see, I think I might have went too fast. He said, thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded you, in the time appointed of the month of Abib. For in it thou came out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. He said, when y'all come together to celebrate with me, don't come in there empty. That unleavened bread. He said, just remember what happened, because I'm trying to keep in your mind how I brought the children of Israel. And this is just a reminder of what I did. And I cleaned it. I brought all my people out. Not one was left. And anybody that came after you to do you harm, not one is alive. And the Feast of Harvest, he said, then I want to be at the Feast of Harvest. There's a lot of noise on the street today. And the Feast of Harvest, the first fruit of your labors, which thou hast sown in the field. He said, I want to be a part when y'all go get all the stuff that you got. And if you get your first fruit of the season, he said, I want there to be a celebration time. I want y'all to see what I'm doing to you through the ground. I want to be a part of that. I want that first feast to be no yeast in the bread. And then the feast of the harvest of the first fruit of your labor, which you have sown in the field. When y'all get to Canaan and y'all get y'all first crop, he said, I want to be a part of that. Give me a tenth of that. And then at the feast of harvest, the first fruit of your labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is at the end of the year. That's the 3 times I want y'all to just know I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that Passover, and then I want to be a part of that Pentecost. And then I want to be a part of the last part of the year. I ain't going to try to say I know that, and I think they said that's tabernacle. I'm still working on that. All I know is God is saying, invite me to the party at least 3 times a year and have that party for me. It with me in it and remembering me. You know how the United States, they have Thanksgiving. We just eat. I don't think we remember too much enough. But he said, I want y'all to, when y'all do have a party, remember what it's all about. Don't forget the thing. How I brought you out. How I gave you a land and y'all brought forth some fruit. You know, the first part of the year, and then the last part of the year, you look back and say, look at what the Lord has done. He said, I want to eat with y'all. I want y'all to celebrate with me. I like it like that. And he said, at the end of the year, when you have gathered in your labors out of the field, he said, y'all gonna feel so good at the end of the year. You look back and see how the ground went through some changes, but yet it yielded fruit, grain. He said, that's how I am with you. I want to be a part of what you do, and then I want you to look back and celebrate how. I want to be a part of what you do, and then I want the time for you to celebrate and look back at how far you've come. And then I want you to go a little bit further, and I want you to look back for the whole year. I want to be a part of the first time you get something out of the ground. Then I want to be a part of what you got at the ultimate end of the ground. I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing. 3 times in the year, all the males shall appear before the Lord God. He said, this time I want every man. He said, I want every man that's a part of my family. I don't want none of them to stay at home. Now the wives and the children, I'm just talking about, I know. But I want the men to show up. And I'm talking about, I want y'all to be so distinguished until the men are recognized by the community that those men, they go together and worship this time of year. Get that name. Because I'm not just trying to have a church full of children and women. This time I want to see every man present, all of them. Verse 18, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. Neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. Now this right here, I'm going to keep it in the vein of the word of God. He said, don't put any yeast in the word. Don't inflate my word. Don't add to my word. Don't make my word puffy. Don't serve people something that you added a little something in to make it look like I did it. He said, don't do that. Neither shall you, and neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. In other words, when I tell you to do what I said, do it quickly. Don't put it off. I'll do it tomorrow. No, he said, teach people how to hear me and obey me quickly. Don't serve my word with additives. And then when I say what I say, don't put it off until the morning. Do it as quick as I said. The first of the first fruit of your land shall you bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. He said, the first of the first fruits of the land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Get up and know the word. Let that be the first thing. Let it be a practice that the first thing, and I know that this could be talking about the grain or the fruit that's being brought in, but I'm talking about the vein of, I'm going to look at it in this vein. The first of the first fruit of the land. In other words, find yourself a place and let God's word be the first thing that you get into. And when you get into that word, the first thing in the morning, that's what you bring. That's what you live out of. Bring God that first. Give God the... And I really, truly say, honestly, don't cut the news on first thing in the morning. Now, again, I know this is talking about, you may get another revelation from, but this is the vein God has given me today. Let the word be the first thing to hit your eyes. Let it be the first thing that you eat. I'm talking about the word. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about get in the Word and learn what God is saying in His Word, according to how He wrote it. Get an understanding. Read. If you're reading a book, I would advise anybody start with Genesis so you can get to know God and His personality. Even if I get up in the morning and I wake up at a certain time, it'll bother me. It bothers me if I go to Facebook. I can't do it. Can't cut on the news. I can't listen to my favorite nothing. Watch my favorite television show. My eyes have to hit the Word first, and I can see it so clearly. I only eat one chapter a day. That's enough for me, because by the time I read it and listen to somebody else teach it, and I look up all the words that I don't know, and I compare translations, and I run references, I do all of that. That's the first thing that I want to do early in the morning. I do it throughout the day, but my eyes, I want to bring the first fruit, the first thing that I gathered from the land of the Word of God. And then it says, the first, let me read that again, 19th verse. The first of the first fruits of your land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. And then it says this, thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. I looked at that thing so many times. Thou shalt not seethe means boil. Because when they were leaving Egypt, God said, look, I want y'all to roast the whole thing, the outside and the inside. He said, don't you boil that meat. In other words, don't get in a hurry and throw something in the boiling thing when you know you're supposed to be taking your time out there to roast that thing and grill it. We throw that word in something real quick, and we jump up and we get up and we go out there and try to feed God. God said, don't put that kid in that milk. Don't boil me, no, don't boil that meat. Because what that meat does in milk, I looked at that this morning, it breaks down the nutrients out of it. God said, be so organized until the first thing, you know what you do first. You know the difference between what you are next and a first. He said, get up and get the Word and study it and bring me that first. Give me that time that you spent with me, because I'm gonna anoint that first time. Because that's mine. And he said, don't be in a hurry and throw the kid in the milk and start boiling, and then he said, can't nobody eat that. It's nothing in there. Why are you talking about you get the world's way of, what's some of these songs? Tic-tac, like my granddaughter. Is it TikTok? Something. And the latest move, he said, don't come to church doing all that foolishness. He said, don't throw the kid in with the milk and burn it and boil out all the good stuff all the good stuff that meat's supposed to contain, the inward and the outward part. You boil it, then you ain't got nothing but something that you ate, a filler. Check out boiling meat, how you boil meat and what it does to it. There's something in there that breaks that stuff down and you have nothing. He said, don't boil that kid in that mother's milk. That thing that's supposed to be a nutrient. He said, don't do that. Don't you take your time and go out there and roast that thing and make sure you study and turn it and make sure it's fully done. And then you feed the people. Give people nourishment from the Word that's fully, that you looked on this side, and then you turn it on this side, and then you looked at this Word, and then you looked up under here, and you let that thing still, and that thing will it grill that whole thing, the inside and out. He said, I'm telling you now, God said, I don't want my people eating boiled meat. Behold, I send an angel before you. This is a capital A. Behold, I send my Son before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place where I have prepared. He knows the way. He's called an angel here. He said, I know the way. Beware of him. He said, beware of him and obey his voice. That capital angel, capital A. Beware of him, obey his voice, provoke him not. He said, don't you make him mad. You want to know how to make him mad? Don't do what I said. For he would not pardon your transgressions. He said, you don't have an excuse. He says he's going to be with you. He's going to lead you into that place. He said, you don't have an excuse to have anything wrong with you. You don't have an excuse for your people to be sick, dying, limping. He said, when you got the word, he said, you're distinguished people. For my name is in him. And he has my approval. This angel, this capital A, which is the Son of God. He said, let him lead you into that promised land, that thing that I promised. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, I'm speaking through him, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to those that want to be your adversaries. He said, but you got to pay attention to him. I'm calling him my angel now. Oh, but you can't say that this is God's house. This is his house. I ain't arguing over what God called his son at this time. He said, it's my angel. But my angel shall go before you and bring you into, he said, he gonna go before you now. And he gonna bring you onto the Amorite. You're gonna have some problem with them Amorite. And these are your cousins. And the Hittites, them your kin folks too. And the Perizzites, them folk too. And the Canaanites, and the Hivites, or Hivites, and the Jebusites. And I will cut them off. He said he gonna lead you right into where you gonna have some problems, and your problems are going to be resolved. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods. He said them folk got some stuff. Y'all ain't got there yet. I'm telling Moses to tell y'all this. They got some gods that you've never seen before. And tell you something, they gonna look like that stuff working. That stuff gonna look like it can fool you. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods nor serve them. He said, don't go over there getting all messed up now. I'm telling you this before it happened. Not in the midst of it happening. I'm telling you this is how it's gonna be. I'm God. But thou shalt you shall utterly overthrow them. It's when you get through with them according to my word, they gonna know that you ain't nothing to reckon with. You ain't nothing to play with. And quite break down their images. In other words, anything that they try to bring to you, break it down. So we don't want that. Don't come in my yard with that. No, sir, don't bring that over here. No, please leave my yard. Sir, did you hear me? Make a distinction. We don't do that at my house. And you shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless your bread. God said, you do what I say do. I bless what you eat. And your water. And I will take sickness from the midst of you. Y'all will be so healthy and so distinguished, but you got to do it like I said. You got to hear what he said. He said, because he's not going to, my son is not going to allow you to, go beyond what he said and then you still get the results of what I promised. He said, it's not going to work like that. There said nothing cast, he said, nothing. Your dog ain't going to have a baby before time. Your wife ain't going to have a miscarriage. Your cattle not going. He said, y'all going to be so distinguished until there has to be, I got to have it like that because I'm trying to save the world. And I need you to be the body that I use to get the world to see the light. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in your land. The number of your days I will fulfill. If I told you you're going to live 120 days, that's how many days you're going to live. Whatever day, however many days you're supposed to live, whatever it is, you're going to live. I'm telling you, if we do what the word said, if we get in the word and we do it like he said, and we study and we read and we look, we got a right to hold God to his word. So this is what you promised. I will send my fear before thee. These folks, when you show up, they're going to automatically, the enemy going to be standing up there with a spear. When you walk in, they're going to sit down they're going to run like a rodent in your house. You can try to run one of them holes. God said, you better worry about no hole running because he ain't going to make down in there. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in your land. The number of your days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before you, and will destroy all the people to whom you shall come, and I will make all your enemies turn their backs onto you. In other words, they're going to be one running. But we got to do it like he said. He didn't say much. He said that if you listen to this angel with this capital A, and you do what he say do, and when I tell you, don't go in there showing out, don't go in there acting like you don't know me. And I will send hornets. He said, I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna do it. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivites and the Canaanites and the Hittites from before you. You might see them, but I tell you one thing. They can't stand them hornets. They getting out of there. He said, but I'm not going to drive them out from you in 1 year. Because if I do that, the land will become desolate. He said, if I drive everything out in 1 year, because them hornets, they don't play. They eat up everything. And the beasts of the field multiply against you, then everything, all the wild stuff will start coming out. He said, I got you now. It may appear that I'm not doing what I said. He said, they're going to do it little by little. I got hornets. I got hornets that you ain't got nothing to worry about. You my people. By little and little, I will drive them out from you until they be increased and inherit the land. He said, the land is yours. Nature follows my instructions. If I tell the hornets to do what you got to do, they coming. They don't argue with me. And I will set bounds from the Red Sea. I'm going to mark your land, even unto the land of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. And he said, all is yours. I promised Abraham. I'm just trying to tell y'all I'm telling you what's going to happen before you get there. So when you get there, you're not confused. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hands. All them folk that's got that land, that's not there. I already had that land set aside for Abraham. They've been standing there. They think it's there, but it's not. The earth is mine, says the Lord. I'm over all the zip codes. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand. Every fight that you have, you're going to win. And thou shalt drive them out before you. You're going to see it. You are going to be the last man standing. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. He said, don't you partner up with them folk. No, be distinguished. Don't get in that line marching and rioting and cussing and throwing over. Don't do that. Well, this is our day now. Don't you do it. He said, don't you raise that false report. Don't you go out there doing that. You better go home. He said, I got this. I got birds that work for me. I got bears that work for me. I got the sun that works for me. I got the rain. Y'all don't need your help. I don't want you out there getting a scratch on you. Go home and let me do what I do. Let me do it, and when I do it, you're going to know I did it. But you got to trust me now. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. See, if everybody would have taught this word, we would have got right here, and we would have been a long way ahead of where we are. But we so big to saying, like the children of Israel, I don't want to hear nothing from God right now. Who you want to hear from? Because you keep destroying those police, then who you going to hear from? Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. We so out of order until I don't even like looking at certain things. They shall not dwell in your land. He said, I'm telling you they won't dwell in. He said, I'm going to cut. Y'all let me handle it. Lest they make thee sin against me. He said, they can't dwell in there now. You got to put sin out. Because if you don't, you're going to surely get entangled, and I'm going to have to treat you just like a sinner. An enemy. For if you serve their gods, lowercase g, it will surely be a snare unto you. That's Exodus 23. That's a word from the Lord. It's worth paying attention to God's word. I want everything that I want it all. I want everything that God said I can have according to his word if I hear and obey. Sound like a promise to me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do what the word says. Talk to you, hopefully, God's will, in chapter 24. Have a good day.